One of my best friends got passed a number to someone from a mutual friend of ours. She thought that he and a friend of hers would hit it off. And he was apprehensive, and he's like, I don't need any help in that department. I'm good. And she's like, no, my friend she's new to town, and she said, maybe you could show her around, take her out to eat or something. She said, you'd be perfect. And I just looked at him like, okay. So he called her. Just out of being nice, he called her. The next day he came and told me, he was like, man, we had a great conversation. We talked about everything and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, cool, great. He said that they talked a few more times. He said they'd even did kind of like a video call, call online. He said the call was good. He said he got to see what she looked like. She saw what he looked like. He was like, hey, bruh, I think I like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, this might be something. I was like, okay, I see you, my boy. He said, on, out of a scale of 100, she was ticking off like all the boxes. He said, and then that weekend, it was, I think it had been like maybe a couple weeks now, he got together to actually take her out. Their schedules lined up. He was going to take her out to get her a bite to eat and take her around the town, show her the town. And I remember the date started like, 7 o'clock. This fool called me like 7:05. He's like, dude, what'd I do? And I was like, your date just started. Like, why are you calling me? He's like, dude, she's a big girl. And I was like, yeah, I mean, she's grown, you know what I'm saying? She's not a child. I mean, you want them kind of R. Kelly problems, boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? He said, no, dude, she's a BBW. She's a large woman. Like, didn't you FaceTime with her? Or didn't you, like, you've seen what she looked like. Like, what are you complaining about? And he's like, no, I didn't know that it was all of that. And I had to tell him on the phone, I was like, listen, you've been talking to her for a couple weeks. You said that she checks all the boxes, like her conversation is on point. She's intellectual. She got her own place. She got her own stuff. She got her own money. She got her shit together. Everything about her was perfect until you saw her and she's larger than what you expected. He's like, well, when you put it that way, yeah. Don't be too quick to judge. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steed, Noob from the Ville, and I'm here to talk to you about Doctor Who Season 8, Episode 9, Flatline. And for this media therapy deep dive, I'm going to call it Lack of Imagination. Now, if you've been rocking with me for a little bit now, you know that I'm not going to do any more long recaps. It's going to be short and sweet to the point. Now, if you want to hear my reaction that Centel and I did to watching this episode and listen to our discussion, go into the description and click on the link where it says episode this analysis is based on. Somehow the Doctor and Clara get knocked off of kilter wherever they were going, and Clara gets out to look around, and they find that getting out of the TARDIS, the door is shrunk down. Like, the door is small. It's on some Willy Wonka shit. They're able to get out and kind of look around, do some initial investigations, and the Doctor notices that something is siphoning off all of the power from the TARDIS, but he can't figure out what it is. So he goes back in the TARDIS to do some calculations to figure some things out. Clara stays out. She runs into a young guy named Rigsby, and Rigsby is doing some, I don't know if it's punishment, but he is painting over some murals and things in a local tunnel. And there are some people that keep disappearing. No word, no rhyme or reason, they're disappearing. These murals in the tunnel are all people's, like the backside of people's, like they're walking away. Come to find out, there's an alien race that has landed on the planet that the Doctor dubs the Boneless. They are 2D, and they creep out of the walls, the ceiling, the ground, and they basically eat people. They consume your essence, because this is how they see the world in 2D form. The Doctor goes through what he goes through. The Boneless are eventually able to move into a 3D form. This is one of those episodes of like, ooh, spend that budget. This was a very high concept, very well put together episode. A little clunky on the delivery, but still the spectacle, the visuals were next level. They really took some time putting the visuals together. You know, I love my quotes, and I only have one. And my one quote is from the now deceased drummer from the rock group Rush, Neil Peart. And he says, quick to judge, quick to anger, slow to understand. Ignorance and prejudice and fear walk hand in hand. I really like that quote, because a lot of times when we do judge things, they are based on what you see. You form an opinion immediately. Now, usually, you form an opinion about someone or something based on limited information. You don't consider the full reasons, the context behind their actions or anything, and you end up jumping to conclusions without fully understanding the situation. Now, a lot of that is based on sight. You believe what you see, what your eyes tell you, which could be completely wrong, but you still lean into that one anyway. There's a game going around on the internet right now, and it's a game I guess you do with people, friends of yours, and said, we listen and we don't judge. And then usually when someone says that, they say some old screwed up shit where you absolutely want to judge them immediately. You're like, oh, you nasty. You know, or they'll say something and just be like, for real? But that's a lot of times we do things because we don't want to be judged. Some of us are just flexing, living in our skin. But we know that a lot of times, without the full context, that people don't understand us and don't take the time to understand us. In this age of social media, everything is in an instant. We live in a microwavable society. Everything is instant gratification. But because of that, there are sound bites, there are TikTok reels, shorts, and things, and even though something might be 2-3 minutes for you to fully understand, you got 15 seconds. And you formed an entire opinion off of the very little bit that you saw. I was telling my partner, if everything about this woman was great until you got to see the full picture of what was her. On a scale of 100, she had a 99 out of 100. She is the best woman that you ever come across in your life, including some of your baby mamas. It's just, it was clear which head was doing the thinking on them days. It's like, it was definitely not this one. It was the dumb one. But this woman is great. And because of the one thing, you don't know if you can be by her side. Let her stand by your side. That's one of those things that doesn't seem to make much sense. And I've actually heard him say that there are some women who have a questionable occupation. Let's just say they might do corn. He has said that because someone who was into adult entertainment, even though, you know, a man's thing is, you know, it's one thing to know that the woman you've been with has been with a whole bunch of dudes and they've done God knows what to her body and she's done God knows what to them. And sometimes you can get past that, you know what I'm saying? Your past is your past. I'm good. I'm new, I'm healed, I'm ready to move forward. You did what you did, I did what I did. Let's move forward. And he said that, and I was like, wait, I know you. You definitely do not think like about that. And it's another thing when you can actually, you know, go on the internet and look it up and see it, and with all this graphic details, and that is definitely not shampoo in her hair. Anyway, be just saying wow shit and like, ooh, your skin is glowing. Ooh, what do you put on your skin? Don't answer that. You don't want to know. Another thing about being too quick to judge is that usually when people are too quick to judge, it's never they're too quick to judge in the right way. It's very rare that they overshoot and they're quick to judge and they give someone all these positive qualities. I mean, and sometimes, I guess sometimes like in dating or whatever, you know, you go into dating somebody, you see them and they look good to you, and like you do like this for all the red flags. Red flag, red flag. I ain't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Most of the times when you judge people, you make unfair assessments about them and say things, do things that could potentially harm relationships. Judging people also comes from a lack of empathy. When you cannot see someone's potential struggles or see something from their perspective, you usually have a lack of empathy, which is completely different than sympathy. It's a lack of empathy. You know, there's an actual saying, you know, that to walk 1,000,000 miles in a man's shoes, and then you can judge them. And I don't know if you really should judge them, but you cannot see someone else's perspective unless you have put yourself in their shoes and seen things through their eyes. Everyone goes through different stuff. Everyone has different vices, different crosses to bear, different things they're going through. And even if you and I went through the exact same thing, how we deal with it based on our environment, our culture, our upbringing, our beliefs and values, we could deal with those two things completely differently. I could get into a breakup with a girl and be like, Alright then. You could break up with a girl and next thing I know, you know what I'm saying, we are pumping your stomach of pills and, you know, we gotta watch you when you get on tops of buildings and on bridges. Sometimes it's hard to get past your first impression of a person. It really is. First impressions are everything. If you're fortunate, you'll be given a second opportunity to make a first impression, but those are rare and far between. A couple things you can do to avoid being too quick to judge. First, gather more information. Try to understand the full context before you actually form an opinion. Keep your opinion to yourself, but don't form a full one until you know everything that you probably should know. Ask questions. Don't assume. Ask questions. Hopefully you can listen to the words coming out of their mouth, form some thoughts, read body language, form some thoughts, but seek clarification. Practice empathy. Consider how you might feel in the other person's shoes. And really the last one, the most important one, is to challenge your own biases. What preconceived notions did you have coming into this? Reflect. And then actively work to overcome whatever personal biases, prejudices, or preconceived notions you have. Because sometimes other people and how you feel on other people, it really isn't on them. It's 100% you. Judging too quickly without considering both sides can lead to all sorts of things: mistaken verdicts, emotional harm, and broader social costs. So make sure that you always think about the ramifications of you being too quick to judge. This is Rakai Steed, Noob from the Ville. Make sure that you like, comment. Has someone ever been too quick to judge you? What about, have you ever been too quick to judge someone? Put in the comments, I'd love to read about it. And share this video as much as possible. And if for some reason you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you click the link and subscribe. Whatever you do, whatever you watch, remember it's all about this, but it has to be about this.